I'm Donna Jackson, 32 years old, and I'm standing at the back of St. Michael's funeral home wearing a black dress I bought from a thrift store 3 years ago. My hands are trembling as I clutch a single white rose, watching the family I've served my entire life pretend I don't exist. If this story hits home, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Every betrayal I share comes with a twist you won't see coming. 7s. My mother, Linda, glides past me in her designer morning suit, dabbing at perfectly dry eyes with an embroidered handkerchief that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. Her husband, Marcus, doesn't even glance my way, too busy accepting condolences like he's receiving subjects at court. And my half-sister, Cassandra, the golden child in her $1,000 black Chanel dress, is posting selfies with the hashtag Remembering Grandpa while her fiancé holds her designer handbag. Meanwhile, I'm the ghost at my own grandfather's funeral. The only person in this room who actually loved him, who spent real time with him, who knew his favorite jokes and his secret recipe for Sunday pancakes. I don't cry yet. I can't. Not here, not in front of them. Instead, I stand straighter, keeping my expression neutral as I watch this performance unfold. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments below and hit that subscribe button if you've ever felt invisible in your own family. Because trust me, you're going to want to stick around for what happened next. The thing about being treated like hired help in your own family is that eventually you stop expecting anything different. I learned that lesson when I was 8 years old and my mother married Marcus Hartwell, a man who made his fortune in commercial real estate and made sure everyone knew it. At first, I was excited. A new father, a little sister, a real family. My biological father had died when I was 6, and I barely remembered him. This felt like a second chance at happiness. How naive I was. Within 6 months, the truth became crystal clear. Cassandra, 5 years old and cute as a button, was the princess. I was Cinderella, minus the fairy godmother and the glass slippers. While Cassandra got a bedroom the size of most people's apartments, complete with a 4-poster bed and a walk-in closet, I was moved to the converted garage apartment. "You're older," my mother explained with that particular smile that didn't reach her eyes. "You understand that Cassandra needs more space for her things." My things fit in 2 boxes. The chores started small. Setting the table, clearing dishes. Then it expanded. Cooking meals, doing laundry, scrubbing bathrooms, maintaining the garden. By the time I was 12, I was running the entire household while Cassandra got manicures and writing lessons. "Donna, we need you to understand," Marcus would say in that patronizing tone, "that we're giving you a home, feeding you, clothing you. The least you can do is contribute to the household." Contribute. That's what he called it. I called it unpaid labor. But Grandpa Walter, my mother's father, saw through it all. He'd visit every Sunday, and his eyes would narrow when he saw me scrubbing floors while Cassandra lounged by the pool. He'd take me aside, slip me books about business and finance, tell me stories about how he built his real estate empire from nothing. "Donna," he'd whisper when no one was listening, "you're worth more than they'll ever understand. Remember that. And one day, they'll see it too." I'm remembering those words now as I watch them perform grief they don't feel. Grandpa died 3 days ago at 87, peaceful in his sleep. I'd visited him the day before, held his weathered hand, listened to him tell me one more time that I was special. "They'll finally see what you're worth," he'd said, squeezing my fingers with surprising strength. "I've made sure of it." I didn't know what he meant then. I'm about to find out. A man in an expensive suit approaches me, mid-50s with silver hair and sharp eyes that seem to catalog everything. "Ms. Jackson?" he asks quietly. "Donna Jackson?" I nod, confused. "Yes." "I'm Richard Morrison, your grandfather's attorney. I need to speak with you privately after the service. It's extremely important." Before I can respond, my mother appears at my elbow. "Mr. Morrison, how lovely to see you. If you need to discuss my father's affairs, Marcus and I are available. I need to speak with Donna, he interrupts smoothly. Alone. It's regarding provisions your father made specifically concerning her. My mother's face goes pale, then flushed. I see. Well, Donna, we'll discuss this at home. No, I think but don't say. We won't. Because for the first time in 24 years, something is happening that doesn't revolve around what you want. Mr. Morrison hands me his card. My office. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Don't be late, and don't discuss this with anyone. As he walks away, I see Marcus watching us, his expression calculating. Cassandra has noticed too, whispering urgently to her fiancé. Even in grief, they're already strategizing, already figuring out angles. They have no idea what's coming. I slip my hand into my pocket, feeling the envelope Grandpa gave me 6 months ago. Open this only after I'm gone, he'd said, his eyes twinkling with something between mischief and sadness. And Donna, remember that the truth always comes out. Always. Tonight, alone in my garage apartment, I'll finally open it. But first, I have to survive this funeral, this farce of family unity, this final performance before everything changes. I clutch my white rose tighter and whisper under my breath, I'm ready, Grandpa. Show them who I really am. The funeral reception is held at the house. My house, technically, though I've never been allowed to think of it that way. I spend it doing what I always do, serving canapes, refilling drinks, clearing plates while Cassandra holds court in the living room, regaling guests with stories about Grandpa's favorite granddaughter. I want to scream that she barely knew him, that she'd roll her eyes when he called, that she once told him his stories were boring. But I don't. I just keep moving through the crowd like a ghost, invisible until someone needs something. Excuse me, miss? An elderly woman touches my arm. Could I have another glass of wine? Miss? Not Donna, the granddaughter. Just miss, as if I'm hired help. Which, I suppose, is exactly what I am to everyone here. Of course, I say with a practiced smile, taking her empty glass. In the kitchen, I lean against the counter for a moment, allowing myself to feel the weight of exhaustion. Not just from today, but from 24 years of this. 24 years of being the help, the shadow, the forgotten one. It wasn't always like this. When I was 8 and Marcus first entered our lives, I remember feeling hopeful. He seemed kind at first, bringing gifts for both Cassandra and me. My mother glowed with happiness in a way I hadn't seen since my father died. The first few months were almost normal. Then, slowly, things shifted. It started with small things. Cassandra got the bigger bedroom because she was more sensitive to space. I was given more chores because I was more responsible. My mother stopped checking my homework because she was so busy with Cassandra's special needs. Cassandra didn't have special needs. She was just spoiled. I remember the exact moment I realized my place in this new family. I was 9 years old, and it was Mother's Day. I'd spent my allowance on a small potted plant for my mom, a lavender she'd mentioned loving. I wrapped it carefully, wrote a card in my best handwriting. To the best mom in the world. Love, Donna. When I gave it to her that morning, she smiled, said thank you, and set it on the counter. Then Cassandra came running in with a macaroni necklace she'd made at school. My mother burst into tears of joy, swept Cassandra into her arms, and spent the next hour taking photos of her wearing that necklace, posting them on social media with captions about the most thoughtful daughter in the world. My lavender plant stayed on the counter for 3 days before I moved it to my windowsill. My mother never mentioned it again. That's when I learned that in this house, I would always be second. Or maybe not even second. Maybe I wouldn't rank at all. By the time I was 10, the division was complete. Cassandra attended an elite private school while I went to the public school down the street. She got piano lessons, horseback riding, tennis coaching. I got nothing. When I asked about extracurricular activities, Marcus would sigh dramatically. Donna, we simply can't afford extras for both girls. You understand, don't you? You're more practical anyway. Cassandra needs these things for her development. I understood. I understood that I didn't matter. Birthdays were the worst. Cassandra's were elaborate affairs with hired entertainers, designer cakes, and guest lists of 50 plus. Mine were forgotten entirely, or if remembered, marked with a grocery store cupcake and a card my mother clearly bought that morning. The year I turned 13, they forgot completely. I came home from school to find them setting up for Cassandra's party the next day. No one even said happy birthday. When Grandpa called that evening and asked to speak to me, I finally cried. I'm coming over, he said immediately. No, Grandpa, it's okay. Sevens, I'm coming over. He showed up an hour later with a chocolate cake, my favorite books, and a fierce expression. The argument with my mother was explosive. I heard every word from my garage apartment. Linda, this is unconscionable. She's your daughter, your flesh and blood. She has a roof over her head and food in her stomach. Dad, she's fine. Fine? She's heartbroken. You've replaced her. I haven't replaced anyone. I've simply found happiness. Why can't you be happy for me? Because you're sacrificing your child for it. After that, Grandpa's visits became my lifeline. Every Sunday, without fail, he'd take me out for lunch, to museums, to his office where he'd teach me about real estate, property management, investment strategies. He treated me like I mattered, like I was smart, like I had a future. They're fools, Donna, he'd tell me over burgers at our favorite diner. They're so focused on appearances they can't see substance. But I see you. You're brilliant, hardworking, and you have integrity. Those are the things that build empires. Marcus hated those Sundays. He'd make snide comments about Grandpa spoiling me, about how I was getting ideas above my station. My mother would just sigh and look away, choosing her husband over her daughter every single time. High school was a blur of work and studying. While Cassandra got a car for her 16th birthday, I took the bus. While she went to prom in designer gowns, I worked double shifts at a local cafe. When college applications came around, the inequality reached its peak. Cassandra was sent to Pemberton University, a prestigious private school with a $50,000 annual tuition. She got a car, a generous allowance, and an apartment near campus. When I got accepted to the same university on academic merit, Marcus sat me down for a practical talk. Donna, we can't afford to send both of you to expensive schools. Cassandra needs the networking opportunities that Pemberton provides for her future. You're more practical. I'm offering you a position in my company's mailroom. You can work your way up. But I earned a scholarship. Sevens. The scholarship only covers half. Where would the rest come from? From Grandpa, I thought. I could ask Grandpa. But something in Marcus's face told me he'd make life even more miserable if I did. So I took the mailroom job, moved into the smallest room in the house, the garage apartment, and watched Cassandra drive off to her dream life while I sorted mail. Grandpa was furious when he found out. I would have paid for everything. Donna! Why didn't you ask? Because it would have made things worse, I said quietly. Marcus would have made me pay for it in other ways. Understanding dawned in his eyes. Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry. But Grandpa didn't give up on me. He started bringing business books, teaching me online courses during our Sunday lunches, introducing me to his colleagues. Education isn't just about universities, he'd say. It's about knowledge. And knowledge is everywhere if you know where to look. So I educated myself. Over 4 years, I completed an online business degree using the library computers. I studied property law, real estate investment, financial management. I documented everything in journals, every slight, every unpaid hour of work, every dollar of wages Marcus took from my paychecks, for household contributions. And through it all, Grandpa watched me grow, his pride evident in every smile. He'd bring me to properties he was showing, teach me to evaluate land, spot good investments, understand market trends. His business associates began to know me, respect me. "Your grandfather talks about you constantly," one of them told me once. "He says you're going to be better than he ever was." I didn't believe it then. I was just trying to survive. The mistreatment continued into my 20s. My wages were contributed to the household. My car, bought with money I'd saved from a second job, was borrowed by Cassandra indefinitely. When she dented it, no one offered to repair it. "These things happen," my mother said with a shrug. I wasn't invited to family photo shoots. Christmas cards featured Marcus, Linda, and Cassandra in coordinated outfits, posed in front of the fireplace. I took the pictures. Medical needs were dismissed. When I had appendicitis at 25, doubled over in pain, Marcus told me it was probably just stress, and I should take some Tylenol. If Grandpa hadn't shown up and driven me to the hospital himself, my appendix would have ruptured. "This is elder abuse in reverse," the doctor told Grandpa in the hallway. I heard through my morphine haze. "She's malnourished, clearly overworked, and this appendix has been inflamed for days. They should have brought her in immediately." Grandpa paid all my medical bills. Marcus never even asked how I was doing. The final insult came last year when Cassandra got engaged to Preston Burke, heir to a pharmaceutical fortune. The engagement party was a lavish affair at the house. 100 guests, live music, an ice sculpture, catered food. I was expected to coordinate everything while wearing a server's uniform. Not as a guest. As staff. "It's just easier this way," my mother explained, not meeting my eyes. "You know how things work, and Cassandra is so stressed with wedding planning." Cassandra's stress involved choosing between 3 different designers for her dress and deciding which exclusive venue to book. My stress involved managing vendors, creating timelines, arranging florals, and serving champagne to people who didn't even know I was related to the bride. Preston's mother cornered me in the kitchen at one point. "You're wonderful," she said warmly. "Do you work for many families in the area? I might need someone for our summer parties." I smiled tightly. "I'm actually the bride's sister." Her face went through several emotions. Shock, embarrassment, horror. "Oh my God, I had no idea. I'm so sorry. I thought..." "Sevens." "It's fine," I said, because what else could I say? Everyone makes that mistake. She left quickly after that, and I saw her whisper urgently to Preston. His expression darkened as he looked at Cassandra, who was laughing with friends, completely oblivious to how her family treated me. The engagement almost ended that night. It took Cassandra 3 days of tears and explanations to smooth things over. Marcus blamed me, of course. "Your presence made things uncomfortable," he said coldly. "Perhaps it's best if you're not involved in the wedding events." Fine by me. Except I knew that meant I'd still do all the work, just without any recognition. Through everything, Grandpa was my anchor. Even as he grew older, frailer, he never missed our Sunday lunches. 3 months ago, his health took a serious turn. I visited him every day in the hospital, reading to him, holding his hand, making sure he wasn't alone. My mother visited twice. Cassandra came once, stayed 10 minutes, spent most of it on her phone. Marcus never came at all. "They're going to be surprised," Grandpa told me one lucid afternoon, his eyes bright despite his pale face. "I've been preparing for this for years, Donna, making sure you'd be taken care of." "Grandpa, don't talk like that, Sevens. Listen to me." His grip on my hand was surprisingly strong. 6 months ago, I gave you an envelope. You haven't opened it yet, have you? I shook my head. You said to wait until... Sevens. Until I'm gone. I know. When you open it, you'll understand everything. But Donna, I need you to promise me something. Anything. Don't let them bully you. Don't sign anything without reading every word. And remember, you're worth more than they ever made you believe. Promise me. I promise, Grandpa. He smiled then, peaceful and content. Good girl. Now, tell me about that property investment strategy we discussed. I want to hear your analysis one more time. So I did, and he listened with pride, and 3 days later, he was gone. Now I'm standing in the kitchen of this house, watching my family drink expensive wine and accept condolences for a man they barely knew. And I'm done. I'm done being invisible. I'm done being treated like help. I'm done letting them define my worth. Tonight, I'll open Grandpa's envelope. Tomorrow, I'll meet with his lawyer. And soon, very soon, everything is going to change. Donna, Cassandra's voice cuts through my thoughts. We need more champagne out here, and those canapes are getting cold. Can you handle that? I look at her, really look at her, seeing her perhaps for the first time as she truly is. Entitled, shallow, cruel without even realizing it. Of course, I say quietly. I'll handle it. But in my mind, I'm adding, this is the last time. The very last time. 3 weeks after Grandpa's funeral, I'm sitting in my garage apartment when Cassandra bursts in without knocking. She never knocks. Privacy is something only she's entitled to. Donna, thank God you're here. She's wearing yoga pants that cost more than my monthly rent and carrying a Prada handbag. We need to talk about my bridal shower. I close my laptop, where I've been reviewing the contents of Grandpa's envelope for the 100th time. My heart is racing, but I keep my expression neutral. What about it? Well, obviously we're doing it at the Four Seasons, and I've got the most amazing planner, but there's the issue of the family contribution. She sits on my bed without being invited, scrolling through her phone. Mom and Marcus are putting in $7,000. Preston's family is matching, so we just need you to cover your share. My share? $7,000. She says it like it's nothing, like I have that kind of money lying around. Actually, to make it fair, maybe $8,000 since you're my only sister and maid of honor. I'm your maid of honor? Well, obviously, who else would it be? She finally looks up from her phone. So can you Venmo me by Friday? I need to put down the deposit. $8,000. I have that much in savings, barely, after years of careful budgeting. It represents every extra hour I've worked, every sacrifice I've made, and she wants me to hand it over for a party. No, I say quietly. Cassandra's perfectly shaped eyebrows shoot up. What? No, I can't afford that. Donna, don't be ridiculous. You've been working for years. Where does your money go? I could list every expense. The rent Marcus charges me for the garage apartment. The household contributions he deducts from my paycheck. The car insurance on the vehicle Cassandra totaled and I had to replace. The medical bills they never helped with. But I don't. I don't have $8,000 to spare. Her face hardens. So you're going to ruin my shower because you're cheap. This is my wedding. Donna. My special day. Can't you be supportive for once? I'm sorry, Cassandra. I just can't afford it. She stands abruptly. You know what? I'm getting Mom and Marcus. This is unacceptable. She storms out, and I sit there, my hands shaking. This is it. This is the confrontation I've been avoiding for 24 years. And somehow, I'm ready for it. They arrive 10 minutes later like an invading force. Marcus's face is already red with anger. My mother looks disappointed, her usual expression when dealing with me. Cassandra trails behind, arms crossed, victorious. Donna, Marcus begins in that patronizing tone I've learned to hate. Cassandra tells me you're refusing to contribute to her bridal shower. I told her I can't afford $8,000. Can or won't. He steps closer, using his height to intimidate. After everything we've done for you, given you a home, fed you, clothed you, this is how you repay us? Something inside me snaps. Maybe it's Grandpa's voice in my head telling me I'm worth more. Maybe it's the envelope burning a hole in my desk drawer. Maybe it's just 24 years of rage finally finding a voice. Given me a home? My voice is louder than intended. You mean the garage apartment I pay rent for? Fed me? You mean the meals I cook for everyone? Clothed me? I buy my own clothes and have since I was 16. How dare you? My mother begins. No. I stand up, and I'm shaking, but I'm done backing down. How dare you? All of you. You've treated me like hired help for 24 years. You've taken my wages, my time, my dignity, and now you want $8,000 for a party. It's family obligation, Marcus says coldly. Something you clearly don't understand. Family obligation. When have any of you treated me like family? Cassandra steps forward. This is why nobody likes you, Donna. You're bitter and jealous and selfish. We should have known you'd try to ruin my wedding. I'm not trying to ruin anything. I'm simply saying I can't afford to pay for your party. Can't or won't. Marcus repeats. Because I think this is about your grandfather. He left you something, didn't he? That lawyer spoke to you. So where's your inheritance, Donna? Hiding it while your sister needs you? My mother joins in. Daddy would want his money to stay in the family. Real family. You need to understand your place. My place. After everything, they still see me as beneath them. The anger crystallizes into something cold and clear. My place! You want to discuss my place? I grab my journals from the shelf. I've documented every hour of unpaid work for the last 10 years. Every dollar you've taken from my paychecks. Every medical bill you ignored. Every birthday you forgot. Do you want to know what I calculate you owe me? Marcus's eyes narrow. Those were household contributions. You lived here. You contributed. That's how families work. Families don't charge one child rent while giving another everything for free. Families don't take one child's wages while funding another's expensive lifestyle. Families don't forget one child exists. You've always been dramatic, my mother says, but her voice wavers. We did our best with you. Your best. I laugh, and it sounds slightly unhinged even to me. Your best was treating me like Cinderella. Your best was moving me to a garage so Cassandra could have a craft room she never uses. Your best was letting me almost die of appendicitis because Marcus thought I was being dramatic. That's enough, Marcus thunders. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to contribute to Cassandra's shower, or you're going to move out. You have 30 days. Silence falls. This is it. The ultimatum I knew was coming. And another thing, he continues, emboldened by my silence. Your grandfather left his estate to your mother. Whatever he left you, if anything, needs to stay in this family. We're going to contest anything disproportionate. My lawyer's already preparing the paperwork. You can't do that, I say, but my voice lacks conviction. Can't we? He smiles, and it's cruel. Your grandfather was elderly, possibly not of sound mind. Easy to argue he was unduly influenced. By you, his favorite. He makes it sound like an accusation. My mother finds her voice. Donna, sweetie, just be reasonable. Daddy was my father. Anything he left should benefit all of us. You understand that, right? No? No, I don't understand how they can be this entitled, this greedy, this blind to their own cruelty. The will reading is in 3 days, Marcus says. Between now and then, you're going to think very carefully about your choices. Sign over any inheritance to the family trust, and you can stay. Refuse, and you're out. Marcus, maybe that's a bit harsh, my mother begins. No, she needs to understand reality. She's lived here on charity long enough. Time to earn her keep or move on. After they leave, I sit in stunned silence. Then I grab my phone and call the one number I know I can trust. Mr. Morrison, this is Donna Jackson. We need to move the will reading up. They're going to try to contest it. They're threatening me. My voice breaks. I need help. Donna. His voice is calm, reassuring. Don't worry. Your grandfather anticipated this. Everything is ironclad, but I need you to do something for me. Anything. Don't sign anything. Don't agree to anything. And don't let them intimidate you. Can you do that? I think so. Good. The will reading is scheduled for Friday at 10 a.m. Can you last 3 more days? I look around my garage apartment, at the life I've built from scraps, at the journals documenting years of abuse, at Grandpa's envelope on my desk. Yes, I say, and I mean it. I can last 3 more days. Excellent. And Donna? Your grandfather was very proud of you. What he did because he saw your worth. Remember that? After we hang up, I open Grandpa's envelope again and reread his letter. My dearest Donna, Sevens. If you're reading this, I'm gone. I'm sorry I couldn't be there to see their faces when the truth comes out, but I'll be watching from wherever I am, probably laughing. They never saw you, did they? Never understood that while they were spoiling Cassandra and treating you like help, you were learning, growing, becoming exactly the kind of person who deserves everything I'm about to give you. 7 years ago, I put everything in a trust with you as the sole beneficiary. Not because you're my favorite, though you are. Not because I want to punish Linda, though perhaps she deserves it. But because you're the only one who understands the value of work, of integrity, of treating people with dignity. Everything I've built, you already own. Have for years. You just didn't know it. The house they live in? Yours. The properties generating income? Yours. The investments? The businesses? All of it? Yours. I did this because I trust you. Because I know you'll use it well. And because they need to learn that treating people poorly has consequences. Don't let them bully you. Don't sign anything. And remember, you were never the maid. You were always the heir. I love you, sweetheart. Make me proud. Grandpa Walter. Sevens. I fold the letter carefully and look around my garage apartment. 3 more days. I can survive 3 more days of their threats and manipulation. Then they're going to discover that the maid they've abused for 24 years owns everything they take for granted. I smile for the first time in weeks. 3 more days. Friday morning arrives cold and clear. I dress carefully in a simple black pantsuit, one of the few professional outfits I own. My hands are steady as I drive to Morrison & Associates. Though my heart races, this is it. The moment everything changes. The conference room is elegant, all dark wood and leather chairs. Marcus and my mother are already there, sitting on one side of the table. Cassandra is beside them, checking her phone. They barely glance at me as I enter. Donna, my mother says coolly. We need to discuss your attitude from earlier this week. After the reading, Mr. Morrison says firmly, entering behind me. He guides me to a chair directly across from my family. Let's begin. He opens a leather portfolio and begins reading. Legal language washes over the room, Standard bequests to various charities, small gifts to old friends. My family listens with growing impatience. Then, to my daughter, Linda, I leave the contents of my first home on Maple Street and $50,000. Silence. Absolute, crushing silence. Cassandra looks up from her phone. Wait, what? My mother's face has gone pale. That's all? What about the properties? Marcus leans forward, his voice sharp. The business holdings? His estate is worth millions. Mr. Morrison continues as if he hasn't heard. 7 years ago, I established the Walter Henderson Trust. The purpose of this trust was to protect my assets and ensure they went to someone who would honor my values of hard work, integrity, and treating all people with dignity. He looks directly at me now. The sole beneficiary of this trust, which includes my entire real estate portfolio, investment accounts, and business holdings, is my granddaughter, Donna Jackson. The room explodes. That's impossible! Marcus is on his feet. He was senile. This is fraud. I can assure you, Mr. Morrison says calmly, Walter Henderson was evaluated by 3 independent physicians before creating this trust. He was of completely sound mind. The documentation is ironclad. How much? Cassandra demands. How much did he leave her? Mr. Morrison opens another folder. The trust currently holds 23 residential and commercial properties across 3 counties, valued at approximately $12 million. These properties generate roughly $800,000 in annual rental income. I can't breathe. I knew it would be substantial, but this sevens. Additionally, Mr. Morrison continues, the trust includes Mr. Henderson's investment portfolio, primarily in technology stocks, currently valued at approximately $8 million. $20 million? My mother's voice is barely a whisper. He left her $20 million. There's more. Mr. Morrison slides a document across to me. Ms. Jackson, you've been receiving quarterly distributions from the trust for the past 7 years. However, per your grandfather's instructions, these were deposited into a separate account you didn't have access to until now. That account currently holds approximately $2.3 million. The room spins. $22 million, plus income I didn't know I was receiving. This is insane, Marcus says. We're contesting this. Our lawyer, Sevens, can certainly try. Mr. Morrison interrupts. But I should inform you of one additional detail. The family home at 1247 Riverside Drive, that property is part of the trust. Everyone freezes. What? My mother whispers. Your father purchased that home 5 years ago and placed it in the trust. Ms. Jackson has been the legal owner for 5 years. You've been living in her house. Marcus's face turns purple. That's impossible. We pay the mortgage, Sevens. You pay rent, Mr. Morrison corrects. Structured as a mortgage payment for tax purposes, but legally, it's rent. To Ms. Jackson, who has been extraordinarily generous in allowing you to remain without standard landlord oversight. I find my voice. The house is mine. The house is yours. The properties are yours. The income is yours. All of it. Ms. Jackson. Your grandfather made sure of it. Mr. Morrison pulls out another document. In fact, let me read you his personal note that he included with the trust documents. He clears his throat and begins. To my beloved Donna, if you're hearing this, you've finally learned the truth. For 7 years, I've watched you live in a garage apartment of a house you owned. I've watched you pay rent to people who should have been paying you. I've watched you work for wages that were rightfully supplemented by trust income you didn't know existed. Why did I do this? Why didn't I tell you sooner? Because I needed to see who you would become without the money. I needed to know if you would develop character, integrity, and compassion even in the face of terrible treatment. And Donna, you exceeded every hope I had. You are exactly the person I knew you could be. Now use these resources not for revenge, but for justice. Not for luxury, but for purpose. Build the life you deserve and help others do the same. I'm so proud of you. Love always, Grandpa Walter. I pressed my hand to my mouth, tears streaming down my face. He knew everything, and he let me struggle because he was teaching me, preparing me, ensuring I'd be ready for this moment. Cassandra starts crying. Actual tears. Donna, you can't just take everything. It's not fair. Not fair. The words burst out of me. You want to talk about fair? You've lived like a princess for 24 years while I lived in a garage. You got private school and university, cars and clothes and trips abroad. I got a job in a mailroom. And now you want to talk about fair? We gave you a home, my mother shouts. You gave me a garage in what turns out to be my own house. I'm shaking now, years of suppressed rage finally finding voice. You took my wages, ignored my medical needs, treated me like a servant, and somehow you think you're entitled to more? Donna, surely we can discuss this reasonably. Marcus tries, his tone suddenly conciliatory. Families should stay together. We can work something out. Sevens. Oh, now we're family. When I own everything, suddenly I'm family. I turn to Mr. Morrison. What are my rights as the property owner? He allows himself a small smile. You can terminate any rental agreement with proper notice. Typically 60 days for a property of that size. You can't just kick us out. Cassandra sobs. Where would we go? Probably the same places I would have had to go if you'd followed through on your ultimatum. I stand up, feeling stronger than I have in years. But I'm not going to kick you out. Not yet. First, we're going to discuss household expenses. I pull out my journals, the documentation of 24 years of abuse. Let's talk about back wages. Market rate for a live-in housekeeper is approximately $40,000 a year. That's for basic services. I also cooked, maintained gardens, ran errands, organized events. Let's call it $50,000 annually. For 24 years. I do the math on the conference room's whiteboard. $1.2 million. Plus, you've been taking a percentage of my paycheck for household contributions for the past 11 years. That's approximately $150,000. Plus the car Cassandra destroyed but I had to replace. Plus medical bills you refused to help with. Plus... Sevens. Enough. Marcus roars. You're not getting a penny from us. Actually, Mr. Morrison says mildly, Ms. Jackson could file a civil suit for exactly what she's describing. Unpaid wages, financial exploitation. The statute of limitations varies, but for some of these claims, she's well within her rights. The fight drains out of Marcus visibly. He sits down heavily. My mother is crying now, mascara running down her face. How could he do this to me? I'm his daughter. And I'm yours, I say quietly. Did you ever think about what you were doing to me? She doesn't answer. Can't answer. I gather my things, the trust documents, the account information, proof of everything Grandpa gave me. At the door, I turn back. You have 60 days to find new housing. Market rate rent until then, which I'll be calculating and sending via my attorney. Mr. Morrison will be in touch regarding the civil suit for back wages. I'll be seeking approximately $400,000 in total. 400,000? Cassandra gasps. Considerably less than you owe me, actually. I'm being generous. I look at each of them, these people who made my life hell for 2 decades. Grandpa always said people reveal their true selves when money is involved. Turns out he was right. "Donna, please," my mother begins. No, I'm done. Done being the maid. Done being invisible. Done letting you treat me like I'm worthless. I open the door. "You taught me I was nothing. Grandpa taught me I was everything. Guess we're all about to find out who was right." I walk out of Morrison & Associates a millionaire, leaving behind a family that finally understands what they've lost. Not money, me. Sevens. 6 months later, I'm standing in the master bedroom of 1247 Riverside Drive, overseeing the installation of Grandpa's portrait above the fireplace. The house is mine now, truly mine, transformed from a museum of their privilege into a home that reflects my values. The garage apartment has been renovated into a guest suite. Cassandra's craft room is now my office. The formal dining room where I served countless meals hosts weekly dinners with Grandpa's old business associates, who've become mentors and friends. My family moved out 2 months ago. They found a modest 3-bedroom rental across town, the kind of place I would have been grateful for all those years ago. Marcus's business took a hit when word spread about how he treated me. Contracts were quietly not renewed. Partners expressed concerns about character. Cassandra's engagement ended 3 weeks after the will reading. Preston's mother made it clear that their family had standards about how one treats others, and Cassandra's behavior didn't meet them. The wedding was called off, the deposits lost. My mother tried to salvage some relationship, showing up at the house with apologies. But her apologies were hollow, focused more on her loss than my pain. "I didn't realize," she kept saying. "I didn't understand." But she did. She just didn't care. The civil suit settled out of court. Marcus agreed to pay $300,000 in back wages and compensation rather than face a trial that would publicly expose their treatment of me. It wasn't about the money anymore. It was about acknowledgement, validation. The legal system saying yes, what they did was wrong. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments and subscribe if you've ever had to fight for the recognition you deserved. Because this is where the real transformation happens. I didn't just inherit money. I inherited a purpose. The Second Chance Housing Foundation launched 3 months ago. Using half the trust's annual income, we provide transitional housing and support services for young adults escaping toxic family situations. We've already helped 30 people find independence, dignity, and hope. Our first resident was a 23-year-old named Sarah, whose stepfamily treated her exactly as mine treated me. She cried when I showed her the renovated garage apartment, now a beautiful studio with everything she needed to start over. "You really did this?" she asked, looking around in wonder. "For people like us?" "For people like us," I confirmed. "Because we deserve better. We always did." Sarah's been with us for 2 months now. She's enrolled in community college, working part-time at a local bookstore, and slowly rebuilding her sense of self-worth. Last week, she told me she'd gone an entire day without apologizing for taking up space. "That might not sound like much," she said, "but for someone who spent 20 years apologizing for existing, it's everything." I understood. I still catch myself apologizing sometimes, even now. Years of conditioning don't disappear overnight. The foundation provides more than just housing. We offer counseling services, career coaching, legal aid for those dealing with family exploitation cases, and most importantly, community. Every Wednesday, we host a group dinner where residents and alumni gather to share meals, stories, and support. Grandpa's business associates, particularly Richard Morrison and his son James, became integral to my new life. James manages several of my properties now, but he's also become something more. Coffee meetings turned into dinner dates. Professional respect evolved into genuine affection. "Your grandfather talked about you constantly," James told me over wine at my favorite restaurant, the one Grandpa used to take me to. "He said you were going to change the world." I'm starting to think he was right. I'm just trying to help people who went through what I did. That's exactly what changing the world means. There's something healing about building a life on my own terms, about choosing my family instead of being stuck with the one I was born into, about proving that worth isn't determined by how others treat you, but by how you treat yourself and others. Tonight, I'm hosting a gala at the house for the foundation. 100 guests, including several families we've helped, donors, supporters, and yes, one begrudging invitation to my mother. She asked to come, to publicly apologize, to try to make amends. I debated for weeks before agreeing, but only under specific conditions. She comes alone. She doesn't speak unless spoken to. And she leaves when I ask. She arrives early, dressed simply, looking older than I remember. "Thank you for allowing me to come," she says quietly. I'm not sure allowing is the right word. I'm giving you an opportunity to see what I've built, what I've become. Despite you? She flinches but nods. I deserve that. Throughout the evening, I watch her observe. She sees me laugh with friends, sees the genuine warmth from people who chose to be in my life. She hears speeches from foundation residents about how I changed their lives. She witnesses the respect from business leaders, the affection from Grandpa's old colleagues, the love from people who value me. She sees, perhaps for the first time, who I really am. Not the invisible daughter she discarded, but the woman Grandpa always knew I'd become. One moment particularly stands out. Sarah, our first resident, takes the microphone during the testimonial portion of the evening. She's wearing a dress she bought with money from her new job, standing tall in a way she never could 6 months ago. I want to tell you what Donna Jackson means to me, Sarah begins, her voice steady despite the crowd. 6 months ago, I was sleeping in my car. My stepfamily had convinced me I was worthless, that I deserved nothing, that I should be grateful for the abuse they called love. I had nowhere to go and no hope. My mother shifts uncomfortably in her seat. She knows the story could be mine. Then I found the Second Chance Housing Foundation. Donna didn't just give me a place to live. She gave me proof that I wasn't the problem. She showed me that family isn't about blood. It's about choice, about respect, about seeing someone's value and helping them see it too. Sarah looks directly at me, tears in her eyes. You saved my life, Donna. Not just my circumstances, my actual life. Because before I found you, I didn't think I deserved to live. Now I know I deserve everything. Thank you. The room erupts in applause. James squeezes my hand. And when I glance at my mother, I see tears streaming down her face, finally understanding, perhaps, what she threw away. During my speech, I talk about Grandpa's legacy, about the gift he gave me that went beyond money. He taught me that your worth isn't determined by how others see you. It's determined by how you see yourself and by how you treat others. He saw me when no one else did, and he made sure I'd have the resources to help others feel seen too. After the gala, as guests depart, my mother approaches. Donna, could we talk? Privately. We go to Grandpa's study, now mine, surrounded by his books and the blue toy truck he gave me when I was 4, carefully preserved on the desk. I need you to understand something, she begins, then stops. No, that's wrong. I need to admit something. I failed you. Completely. I chose a man and a lifestyle over my own daughter, and I convinced myself it was fine because you were fed and housed. But it wasn't fine. It was cruel. Yes, I say simply. It was. Can you ever forgive me? I consider the question carefully. Forgiveness is complicated. I don't know. What I can tell you is this. I'm willing to have supervised lunch once a month. Just us. No Marcus, no Cassandra. You come alone, and we talk, honestly, about everything. If you can do that consistently for a year, we can reassess. Just lunch? That's all? That's all I'm offering right now. You spent 24 years treating me like I didn't matter. One apology doesn't erase that. You want a relationship with me? You'll have to earn it. The way I had to earn everything I have. She nods slowly, wiping her eyes. That's fair. More than fair. Thank you, Donna. She pauses, looking around the study. He really loved you. Dad, I think he loved you more than he ever loved me. He loved you, I say, surprising myself with the defense. But he couldn't respect the choices you made. There's a difference. I see that now. I see a lot of things now. She stands, gathering her coat. I'll call you next week to set up our first lunch, if that's okay. That's okay. After she leaves, I sit in Grandpa's chair, the leather worn smooth from years of use. On the desk is the photograph he kept there, me at age 4, grinning up at him with complete trust and joy. The granddaughter he never stopped believing in. I did it, Grandpa, I whisper to the photo. I became who you knew I could be. I hope I'm making you proud. After she leaves, James finds me on the terrace, looking out over the gardens I once maintained as a servant and now enjoy as an owner. How are you doing? He asks, slipping an arm around my waist. I'm okay. Really okay. For the first time in my life, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Your grandfather would be so proud. I hope so. I think about him every day. Every decision I make, I ask myself if it would honor his memory. Spoiler alert, it does. We stand there in comfortable silence, and I think about the journey. From that little girl moved to a garage, to the woman who now owns the mansion. From invisible to invaluable, from servant to sovereign of her own life. 1 year later, I stand at Grandpa's grave on his birthday, placing his favorite flowers, white roses, on the stone. Hi, Grandpa, I say softly. I thought you'd want an update. The foundation is thriving. We've helped 80 people so far. Your properties are doing well. I sold 2 and reinvested in affordable housing projects. James says hi, by the way. We're getting serious. He's a lot like you, actually. Sees value in people others overlook. I sit on the bench nearby, the one I had installed so I could visit comfortably. Mom and I have lunch once a month now. It's still awkward, but she's trying. Really trying. She's in therapy, working through why she made the choices she did. Marcus divorced her, by the way. Once the money was gone, so was he. Turns out he married her for access to your wealth, and when that disappeared, so did he. She's living alone now, working as a bookkeeper. It's humbling for her, but maybe that's what she needs. I pause, watching clouds drift across the sky. Cassandra's working retail now, living with roommates. I heard she's actually doing okay. Growing up, maybe. She sent me a card last month, apologizing for everything. I haven't responded yet. I'm not sure what to say. Some wounds take longer to heal than others. A breeze rustles through the trees, and I imagine it's Grandpa, listening. I finally understand what you were teaching me all those years. It wasn't about the money, was it? It was about knowing my worth. About understanding that how people treat you says everything about them and nothing about you. You gave me the tools to build a life of dignity, purpose, and meaning. I trace his name on the stone. Walter Henderson, beloved grandfather. They saw me as a maid. You saw me as an heir. And you were right. You were always right. I stand, brushing off my pants, preparing to leave. I'm living the life you dreamed for me, Grandpa. Not perfect, but mine. Built on the foundation you gave me, integrity, compassion, and the understanding that true wealth isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in lives touched, dignity restored, and love given freely. Thank you for everything, for seeing me, for saving me, for showing me that I was never what they said I was. I was always what you knew I could be. As I walk back to my car, parked near his grave, I feel lighter. The past doesn't own me anymore. The pain doesn't define me. I am Donna Jackson, 33 years old, entrepreneur, philanthropist, advocate for the overlooked and underestimated. I am my grandfather's legacy, and I'm just getting started. I stand, brushing off my pants, preparing to leave. I'm living the life you dreamed for me, Grandpa. Not perfect, but mine, built on the foundation you gave me. Integrity, compassion, and the understanding that true wealth isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in lives touched, dignity restored, and love given freely. Thank you for everything, for seeing me, for saving me, for showing me that I was never what they said I was. I was always what you knew I could be. As I walk back to my car, parked near his grave, I feel lighter. The past doesn't own me anymore. The pain doesn't define me. I am Donna Jackson, 33 years old, entrepreneur, philanthropist, advocate for the overlooked and underestimated. I am my grandfather's legacy, and I'm just getting started. If this story resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to remember their worth. Comment below. What would you do with a second chance at dignity? Subscribe for more stories about justice, redemption, and discovering that you were always more than they told you you were. Because the best revenge isn't hurting those who hurt you. It's building the life they said you didn't deserve. It's proving that their assessment of your value was wrong. It's becoming exactly who you were always meant to be. I was never the maid. I was always the heir. And now, finally, everyone knows it.